is the underside of the snare. So front, underside. So first I'm going to start with a resonant head. Why? It's very, very important to get the resonant head right. Because if your resonant head is right tuned, then you can do whatever you want with your batter head. If your resonant head is not tuned well, then it will become difficult to tune your batter head. I think a lot of people forget about the resonant head. Okay, so I have here, let's see, which one is this? The regular one. So this is the resonant head, right? So it's very, very thin. So I'm not endorsed by anybody, but I like the Remo Ambassador. So the resonant head is the hazy Ambassador. Some people use the Diplomat. I have the Diplomat is even thinner. I have a 12-inch snare drum. It's a very, very small snare drum. So the thicker heads, even Ambassador is too thick. So I put a Diplomat resonant head. But for this one, right? So, you know, and a lot of people, like, especially like collectors, you know, or stuff like that, they have, you know, they want to put the Remo sign in the right place or something like that. Like, I don't really care. So, but I still, you know, I put the Remo sign on where my strainer is here. So let's see, like this. Oh wow! So this is a very old drum. So old drums are more difficult to tune because the shell can be a little bit oversized, undersized. So this shell, it's a little bit tight. I didn't know that, but Remo makes special heads for that. It's a little bit tight, but it's not crazy tight. Like I have a Slingerland Radio King drum back in Europe, and there you can, like, you have to push the thing on, and even like one lug cracked because of it. So this is like, doesn't go very easy, but it's not like crazy. So it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so like this, it's kind of tight, right? So then I have the hoop. So very important thing, which hoop is the underside? So on the underside hoop is the hoop with these things, because this is where the snares go. So it's very important that you put this part where the snares go. So like this, I don't see, there's not really a difference between the two, but oh, I should have cleaned this better. So I put the hoop on, right? So maybe like this, maybe like, so this is, again, this is an old drum, so this will be more difficult to tune, a little bit more difficult to tune than the regular, you know, Yamaha modern drum, or, you know, the regular factory-made drum. This is a drum from the 60s. So now I'm going to put all the tension rods, and I'm going to show you a very, very important part of putting a new head on, especially if the drum is old, you know, because old drum, especially these thin drums, also they can deform over the years because it's a very thin shell, and you know, wood is a living, is alive, right? So you know, it kind of shrinks a bit, it expands a little bit, so it basically lives. So the shell changes a little bit. This shell is underside is a little bit tight. So the Remo makes these classic fit heads that, you know, for oversized drum, but this is not really oversized. It's just a little bit tight. So I'm not going to get like a different head. You know, this works fine. Okay, so now I just need 2 more screws or tension rod. I call this screws. They're tension rods. And now I'm going to start tuning. So this is the resonant side, right? So how I do it is, so Remo, I think Evans has a little bit of a different system, but Remo, you know, has this, like, it has some kind of thing that you have to put, like, fit the drum onto the shape. So, see, I do this. Now this is a very, very thin, this is the hazy, this is like the underside of the snare. This head is super, super thin, so I don't hear a lot of like normally I feel resistance, but I don't feel too much resistance. So what I do is, but let me first, they call it finger tighted. I mean, people do it with the fingers, but let me do it with my drum key, right? So I just put it, so I didn't tension it yet. Just put it a little bit on, right? Like this. And now, what I'm going to do is, so normally how I tune, again, this is an old drum, so I have to be a little bit more careful how I tune. And so what I do, also now the shell, without the head is sitting on the rim, so I mean it's rubber, but I have to be careful, I don't want to like break it. You hear that? So I put my hand in the middle and then I tune. You can tune like that, but I don't do it because I always forget where I am and which one I've done, yeah, I'm not so particular about it. And my experience is that if the drum is old and maybe the shape is not 100% routed, but still at the end you have to adjust. You can think that everything is even, or even sometimes things sound almost even, but then one lock is tension more or less. But I always do it like that. So I put my hand in the middle and I press it, and then I tune all the drums. I tune all the tension rods basically until I don't feel or I don't see any wrinkles, right? And now I can release it. So I also do it, it's unless it's like the perfect factory made drum or something like that. Mostly, so for me, tuning it's about, of course, hearing. You first of all you have to hear the pitch, right? You see, this is lower than this or something, right? So now I'm going to try to hear the pitch, but it's also feeling, because sometimes the pitch seems to be kind of close, but one lock can be much less tightened than the other one, and I'm not so sure why that is, like with old drums, maybe because of the construction of the shell, but you have to, like, sometimes I tune it completely up and then I tune it down again. Because if you tension everything up very, very tight, it's going to be tensioned even. And then, of course, I listen, So it's a combination. So let's tune the drum now. So for tuning, let me get. So for tuning, so I start to listen, right? So now I tune the drum up by putting my hand in the middle. So you have to listen for the pitch. For example, this is higher than this, right? So you can say, okay, which pitch is the most common, right? Because you can maybe this is higher than this, but then another one is lower or higher again, so you have to a little bit see what's the balance of the drum tune, like the pitch. So the reso head, I tune it quite high normally, so I feel like if you tune the resonant head, then the better head, you can lower it again and it keeps the tension. But maybe it also depends on the drum, but not crazy, I don't crank it up crazy unless it's a cheap drum. If it's a cheap drum, I can do that, Then if it's a cheap drum, you just crank everything up and then it will sound okay, It's a bit lower. So and that you just have to try to get the pitch of every drum. So now I don't have a resonant, I don't have a better. So what I hear from this head is pure this head, because sometimes if you have the other head on, you don't really hear. I mean, you can hear maybe some pitch that comes from the other head or something, but this is, So also I don't do this. I don't do this because this can harm the wood, you know, because this is metal. I saw this in a Dave Weckl video one time. So you can now, you know, like now it's like you can hear like this one lug is higher than the other one. So do I adjust the lower lugs more to the one, or do I lower it? Mostly it's easier to tighten it a little bit up than lower it, but let's lower this one bit. Pretty good, yeah. So, you know, I might have to tighten it up more eventually. I might, you know, but I don't know until I actually put both heads on. So that depends on the drum again. I forgot how I have the old heads on, but so this is my batter head. Where's the? Again, I'm not endorsed or anything, unfortunately, but the Remo Ambassador is the best drum head on the market, and I hope they will never, never, ever, ever change it, because, you know, like it's the most all-around drum head. So basically, so let me put this here. It's a little bit tight. A little bit tight, but it fits. So again, the old drums, you know, they can be maybe not 100% round, but it's pretty round. I don't know if it's 100% round. I don't think so, but it's pretty round. So, you know, that makes it a bit harder for the tuning, but it's not oversized that, you know, I cannot put the, again, like I said before, I have some, like the Slingerland Radio King drums were very oversized, and I have two Radio King snare drums, and the head almost doesn't fit. You have to like squeeze it on, it's not good. But then Remo came out with a classic fit. It's called the classic fit, and that's like a drum head that, you know, especially it's for oversized vintage head. I don't know why they didn't come out with that like years and years ago, but you know, they came out with it pretty like long time ago. But up to that point, we had to struggle with, you know, with like getting like these new heads on, you know, on old drums. And but these Ludwig drums, you know, they're okay. And then you have other drums, like the Premier drums, or the very old Premier drums from the 60s, or the Sonar drums, the very old Sonar drums. I think the Sonar is a very, very old Sonar drum. They were pre-international sizes because they were European drums, and we still don't use inches, you know, except for like drums. Thank God, because inches are not like very precise. So because we came from a metric system, you know, they actually you know, the sizes of the old Premier drums. I used to have a 60s Premier drum, and you need different kind of heads, because the 12-inch tom is actually like 11 and something, like it's a bit low, a little bit smaller, and the 16-inch floor tom was larger, was like 16 and something. So the regular, even like the classic fit has the a little bit oversized heads that didn't fit, so you had to like get. But Remo makes the, you know, the pre-international heads, but that's another story. So these Ludwig drums, you know, but again, you know, old drums, you know, the wood, you know, this is a very thin shell, so the wood, you know, it changes over time, and you know, it might be, you know, it like the head doesn't go on it as if it's like a new Yamaha or Tama or whatever, you know, TW drum or something like that. So now, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm not tensioning it, right? I'm just making sure that the lugs are in the lugs are in the in this in the, you know, I don't know, please, somebody help me. Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm starting to enjoy to do these live streams. I have not really thought about doing these live streams before. A friend of mine said, hey, you should do these live streams, you know, instead of like making videos, long videos that nobody watches anyway. So, it's okay. It's clean, but I could have cleaned it better. Now I see some spots that are left, but it's good I cleaned the hood because they were dirty. Yeah, I could have cleaned it better. But yeah, I mean, whatever, it's already better. So now what I do is this. You hear it? Like, so that's how to put it. You see, now you hear it because it's a thicker head, like the resonant head was very, very thin, so you don't really hear it. But you hear it like this cracking noise. That's the head adjusting to the shell. And in my opinion, that's why Remo, you know, it doesn't just lay, you know, like flat. So it adjusts. It basically wraps around the shell of the drum, or something like that. You know. So again, I'm not endorsed or anything, but you know, the ambassador head. You know. So why do I like the ambassador head? Is because it makes the drum sound like the drum, if it makes sense. So some drum heads are great for maybe like R&B or something, you know, because you get just hear like, you know, but you don't really hear the drum itself. You hear more of the head. And for some situation that's cool, but then, you know, why do you, especially like for jazz or something, like why do you get a certain drum set for a lot of money if you then will not be able to hear the drum set, the real sound, you know? So this, I feel like this has really, they make the real drum sound kind of come out. Of course, it's not like a cuff held by something, but so now I have this one. So now let's do the same. So let's try to. Whoa. So now you hear how detuned it is. Again, this is an old drum, so this is going to be a little bit harder to tune, and I might have to tighten up the resonant head more. I'm not sure. First time I got this drum with old heads, I had a little bit trouble to tune it, honestly, but then I could tune it. So let's see how it works with the new head. You hear it. It makes some noise. Hey, hello. It makes some noise. So the head is still adjusting to the drum, which is so cool. Like I really think that's cool. That's why it's good to have just one head for one drum, you know. But of course, I had the skin tone head and I tried it on different drums. This one is a little bit hard to tune, honestly. So let me just crank it up a little bit more. Make sure the head gets used to. Yeah, again, like I had. So the funny thing is, my 1920s Ludwig that is like 100 years old. Shell is perfectly round, but it's a solid shell. What do you mean? How can you do that? What do you mean that? Can you specify it? So this is a bit lower, but when you know it's a bit lower, but when I tighten it, I feel it's already almost to the end. So again, since it's an old drum, I have to be a little bit careful, and I also have to feel where the things are. So maybe the shell is somewhere not like 100% round anymore, something like that. So now it's tightened very, very, very tight, right? You can still hear the drum head adjusting to it. So this is too high, right? I'm not going to have it tuned that high. But again, the drum head is still adjusting. I can still hear some noises. So this is clearly lower than this one, but it's already cranked up very, very high, much lower. So I honestly have to say that so help me with what? What do you need help for? Can help you if it's drum related. You see, so it's kind of hard, hard to tune this because again it's an old drum, and I can still hear it's still adjusting. So I have to give it a little bit time. So this is clearly out of tune. It's out of tune, but there is no more space to tune it up. So something is up with the rest of the shell. Also here, but I'm already on the maximum. Here also. So I noticed with this drum, when I was tuning it the first time, so now this one is, that's the funny thing. This one, I think this one, maybe it was the other one, maybe I'm wrong. First sounded too low, but now that I tuned the other one up, this side went up. So it's a bit, it's like a balance exercise with these old drums. Well, I can still hear so the head is still adjusting. The head is still adjusting. Again, the head is still adjusting. Oh, come on, get out of here, stupid scammers. No scammers, please. No scammers, please. Go away. Don't ruin my live stream. So now what I notice is that with this particular drum, and I think it's because probably the shell is not 100% straight. With this particular drum, I need to two lugs or something like that are always a little bit off. So I have to, I can't just tune it, 100%. So I have to juggle a little bit with the tuning. So I have to feel and hear it. And now instead of just going around, I have to, experiment a little bit, so these old drums can be kind of difficult. Like this one is lower, but I'm already on the maximum. So this means that this one also. So now this one is too high again. So it's very, but then when I feel it, it's actually less tension than another one. So. So at this point, I think it's really about I mean, if you're starting about Cash App, then I'm out of here, I mean, it's not 100%. It's always this part. Is still adjusting. So this drum I have to, I have to give it a little bit of time. So let's put the snares on. So again, for this snare drum, I need a screwdriver. So I bought these snares. It's the pure sound. I mean, now it's called Evans, I think. Now it's called Evans, but so Remo Evans, like I know. But this pure sound is the regular 20 snare wire. So normally Ludwig's come. They come with 16, I think 16, like very thin wire. But for me, this drum particularly, with the thin wire, it lacks a little bit snare things. And then the other one, I think this one I had on my other drum. That's a 24 strand, I think. And it's great. I mean, I already put that one up. It sounds like so much better. But maybe too many snares. I think the 21, the regular one, is, the best. I think that's the best one, No, it's the all around, like the regular one. So let's see. Again, I usually don't, normally, like if there were good snares on it before, I would have just left them. I'm not like this guy who says to have the same wires on everything or something. I don't really care too much. But I have these snares on a lot of other drums, and like why I have this? So these other snares are from a Grace drum I have, and can I block you somehow or something, like cash up. So guys, that's another lesson. That is not a drum lesson. If anybody ever asks you for Cash App, it's a scammer. Okay, so I have this. It's a regular, like they call it the straps or something like for marketing purposes, they have all kind of fun, like weird names for everything. It's just like a rope, So some of these wires come with a like a plastic thing, but this one, for me, it's better because these old drums, they don't have. They have this weird system, like it's all this. So let me show. So what I do now is I have this thing, so I have to take this out, and then let's see how it sounds. So I need this screwdriver. Yeah, all drums, they sound cool, and I love all drums, and but you have to then deal with like the parts that are parts that are maybe work, like it's more difficult to work with or something like that. Of course the hardware is it's much better now of the drums than it used to be, but I think the wood depends on the era. But for example, if I see the 1920s drums, I mean the quality of everything is better than any drum nowadays, because the cost of manufacturing, mass production, like went up and everything. So yeah, let me take this one out. I'll be done with this in a second with the snares. Please get off my live stream with your Cash App nonsense. So I'm almost done here. So now for the snares, how do I do it? I do it very simple. So I make sure the snares are. So the first part that I'm doing is this part, right? So why? Because this is the fixed part. So I just put it like in the middle, And so this one I make sure it's tightened. Why? It's tight. Why? Because this one is the one that doesn't move, So once this one is good, then you don't have to like really care about the other ones. Wait, I have to be careful a bit. Yeah, Give me a second. I'm almost done with this, but it's a bit with this screwdriver. It's a little bit weird. So I wonder why. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so I'm almost done with this. So I make sure this is really like, you know, at the at the end of the drum. So if you know, like I make sure it's all the wires are in the middle, you know, because you know once you get this one up, you can always manipulate the other side, but you can't really manipulate this side. I mean, then you have to like I have to like unscrew it again, and it's like annoying, you know. So okay, this is almost done. I also don't want to unscrew it too much because let's see if I can block you. Report. Okay, now you're blocked or something like that. Nice. Okay, so this camera is gone. Okay, now I've done this side. So now the strainer on the other side, it's always a little bit tricky to know where to put the wires on the other side. This one is fixed. Right, so this is a little bit of a strange strainer with this system. See, with these little holes. It's a little bit like the 1920s, like I think up to maybe the 70s, you know, like the 70s has a different strainer. I think they stopped doing that in the 70s. Okay, maybe actually I overdid this one. Maybe. Yeah, this always, you know, I don't like doing this snare adjustment because it takes a lot of time and okay, maybe this is better. But, you know, once you get them up, you know, you don't really have to change that, you know. So, okay, we're almost there. I'm almost at the end of the, you know, this is with this screwdriver. I have to be careful not to damage this drum. Yeah, I could never be a drum builder. I don't have patience for that. Okay, so now what I do is here, so I loosen it, right? So I try to loosen it more. Why? Because if I loosen it, but it's too much. If I loosen it, I have more room to then tighten. Okay, so again, so this is a weird kind of way because I cannot really, like I have to do it like the other way around. So I have to, with this strainer, right? So in that way, you know, it's old strainer. So what I do is, so I'm putting this one. So the good thing about this strainer is these are all strainers, but they're still kind of easy to find, like online if it breaks or something. Like my 1920s Ludwig strainers, that's very hard to find. There are a couple of them, but they cost like $200 or something. It's very cool. But these ones are kind of, you know, I've seen them around. So I put it here and here. I mean, this is not the best. You know, this is kind of a weird method, but I have to do it like this. So I make sure, okay, it's actually looser than I thought it was. So let's see, and now it's a little bit. Man, all these annoying comments here today. You know, so let's see if this works out. So that's why now if I do it like this, okay, let's see. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let's see. And then I can finally so now I'm tightening. Okay, you see, it's pretty loose. So what I do is, that's why I put the snares in with the tension basically very loose, because like this, you know, I have more margin now to tighten it. So let's see if it works and if I did a good job like this. And then we'll see if the snare, I think it's too high tuned now, but it's good to leave it a bit high tuned so the head can adjust to the drum. Again, if you have a modern drum that is perfect, you know, round shape and everything, you know, that's a different story, you know, you can like go faster, you know, so. Nice. So let's see how it sounds. Ooh, wow, nice. I like to, but maybe I don't know if it's really good, but I like my snare style. It's a little too high for me, the tuning, so I might lower it a little bit. It sounds so much better than with the old head. It sounds more controlled. So you can play on the side of the drum. So on the side. So if you like in, for example, in classical snare drum, we learn, you know, if you want to play a piano, you know, right here. Sounds great. Has some overtones, so maybe I can get them out with tuning. But it's also a small space here, so but it sounds great already. Wow, what a big difference. And I think the snares, the 20 strain snares, like I had the 24, 20, I think it's 24, the thicker, like the bigger ones. It's very cool. But I think I prefer this 20. It's like a nice balance, you know, between 16 and like it's a perfect middle, you know. That's why maybe they're the most sold ones, you know. See, it's out of tune again. So this one is too high. So let me lower it down a little bit. Also depends on the room. So in this kind of smaller room, I like it tuned lower. But I did a gig the other day in a big room that sounded really good, and then, you know, I had to tune my drum up because it sounded better. So let me also put in my earplugs because my ears. So let's see. So I'm finally almost done. But you see, putting out a new drum head makes a huge difference. Yeah, you see, so this all drums I have to experiment a little bit, you know. Nice. Woo. system is not nice. Wow, this is a nice drum. You know, when I got it out of the box, because it was like the heads were ruined and everything, like I kind of doubted if I liked the drum, but now that I have put new heads on, sounds amazing. It's a bit hard to tune. Like now already, you know, I tuned it to equal. Now it already kind of, I feel it detunes kind of fast. Now, for some reason, this lock always, so this might be because the shell is not completely round. So now it's out of tune again. It's not bad. Sometimes, you know, once you tune it, you have to leave it alone. So, like this one, you know, at this point, it's because the drum is old. Like this lock, you know, even if I completely detune it, I think it's because the shell is not 100%. What is this? So this lock always sounds weird, and I think it's because the drum is not completely round. It's even if, you know, I tune it. Now I'm messing with it. Sounds great. Whew. Sometimes, like again with these old drums, it's like sometimes the tension between, you have to like balance out the two logs, you know, because it's like, I think again because the shell is not 100% round. And this, for some reason, this one always seems to be higher, but I don't know. Yeah, Bas van Wel. Where are you from, Bas? You have a Dutch name, right? Bas van Wel, maybe? But that's, you know, that's the price you pay. That's the price you pay for getting vintage drums, you know. So it's very cool, it sounds great. Ah, Nederlands, ik spreek Nederlands. Oké, ik kan ook in het Nederlands spreken. Ja, maar ik spreek Nederlands, want ik ben in België opgegroeid. In Brugge. Oh wow, now it's getting very close. But this one always sounds higher, always. Ja, vet. Spelen in de metal. Ah, hij speelt in een metalband, dat is wel vet. Ja, mooi land natuurlijk. In Nederland ook. Hè. Ik wil altijd naar de Waddeneilanden gaan, ik ben daar nog nooit geweest. Altijd willen gaan. So, you know, at this point, this lock, whatever I do, I feel like sometimes if I detune it again and I put it lower, then another lock is affected. So I'll just leave it alone for now. Maybe it's the underside, you know, sometimes I have to, but I tune the underside pretty well, you know, sometimes. But again, with these old drums, oh ja, das war wahr. En Ardennen zit toch erbij, dat is wel waar, ja. Ja, klinkt goed, amai. Ja, echt goed, ja. Maar ik zeg, like I said, like the tunings, I think the shell on the better head is not 100% flat anymore. I think that's why. So this is a Ludwig from the 60s. I searched for it. You see, from this, apparently it's from 66. You know, I looked it up. So it's also possible, you know, again, because it's an old drum, that it detuned a little bit with a new head. So this is a very important thing to know, is that if you cannot get a lock to like tuned in the right way, you might want to turn around or the shell is not round, or you might want to turn around the snare and see if maybe the resonant head got detuned. And with these old drums, do you want to use a drum chat on tools for tuning? No, it's okay, you can ask whatever. No, I don't use anything, I use my ears. You know why? Because I feel like, again, unless you only play like new drums that are in perfect shape, you know, like for me, tuning is also, it's always about, I mean, it's about listening to the pitch, but it's also about, you know, you have to feel it a little bit, and you have to, with these old drums, you have to like kind of sometimes, like with my drum kit, my floor tom, it has a little bit like the edge goes like that, and then it goes a little bit like that somewhere, a little bit like that. So I have to feel how to tune it a little bit, you know. So I don't use any tools, you know. We have to train our ears, you know, and it's experience. Once you experience tuning drums, see, this one is already out of tune. So my problem with the other head might have been from the resonant head. I mean, you know, like again, it's going to get detuned again a little bit. But again, I think it's the same lug that is always like. I mean, it's not very 100% perfect. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to start playing it. I should have left it alone. Now I'm ruining it, because now I hear also like some tones from the other head, and then I should have just left it alone. That's another good lesson, If it's good, don't ruin it. I mean, I play some piano too, but I don't really practice it. I use it for like composing music, and I play mallet percussion like vibraphone, marimba, but I haven't played those also for a long time. So now okay, not bad, like, but yeah, it sounds great. Wow, it sounds great. Woo! Just making sure these things don't loosen. Yeah, great drum. It sounds full. It sounds warm. It has a lot of attack. Let's take the other drum. So I have this other drum. I mean, I have a couple of drums. This is my 1920s look. So the construction, like I can really see that. So this is a different strainer. I just put it for practical reason, but I have the original. So this is the 60s snare. I mean, clearly in the 60s they used cheaper material. The hoops look cheaper, everything looks cheaper. But sounds great. Yeah, right? All drums are the best. Like I said, sometimes, but this 90-20 snare, it's round, it's easy to tune, it's unbelievable. It's probably like an orchestral snare or something, because they didn't really have like, they had like this, they didn't have the drum set like we have it now, right? So, and I also think it's like much less mass production, higher quality. I think in the 20s, the steel in the US was also like higher quality or something, like it's not like, but it's out of tune, so let's tune this one a bit. So I got this drum from a guy who got it from his grandfather. So his grandfather used this drum, like, there were even photos, I think, of him. And then now I have this drum. So it's like a family drum of somebody. I didn't clean the hoops or anything. So this is the solid shell snare drum. Yeah, so this one is a jazz festival, this red one. This is a 1920s, so the jazz festival is 3-ply, but this one is steel bass solid shell in the 1920s, and yeah, I mean, it's the best drum I've ever had in my life. And I have 2 Radio King snares. See the snares on here are Ludwig's. See, these are the ones that come with the drum. I mean, this is not the original 1920 snare. These are the Ludwig drums that were snares that were also on the other thing. And I mean, on this drum, everything sounds great. Maybe I should replace the snares as well. this one, you know, that's a keeper. Why? Because maybe I should put the pure sound wires on this one too, you know. But this one, this drum is such a high quality, it doesn't even need great wires to make. Yeah, it's I think it's mahogany. I think it's mahogany. So again, I put a different strain on it just for practical reasons, but I have the original strain. And this, you know, maybe it's, you know, it's like it has been used and everything, but this one sounds so great. And the guy, you know, sold it to me for not too much money, you know. And I mean, obviously there are, you know, collectability, you know, like there are snares that are like even in better shape, or but this one sounds like I'm a player, I'm not a collector. I mean, I like to buy stuff and I like to kind of collect stuff, but if I buy something, I need to play, you know. I don't want to like have it sitting in a shell. Unbelievable. If I put pure sound wires in it, it probably sound even better. Unbelievable. Let me take some of this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable snare. Unbelievable. That's like, this is like, I should never sell this one, because you know, sometimes maybe something the hardware is in a better shape or something, but it's not completely round. This one, and I have two Radio King snares that are also solid shell from the 40s, 50s, Slingerland, and I like them, but this one, it's on another level. I don't know what's up with those Ludwigs. It's cool, but it's not as amazing as the other one. But also cool, right? More funk. Also, you know, I don't take the other snare out unless it's for recording. Okay, let me get my Gretsch snare. Give me 1 second, because this other wires I got from my Gretsch snare. Give me a second. So this is my Gretsch snare. And then, yeah, I'll get my other snare. You know, New York, no space, no money, but still new drums. So this Gretsch drum that I'm going to take out. Oh no, that's not the Gretsch one. So, but let me show you. Getting blind. So what I was saying, I have Steam Band single play snare as well. Oh yeah, I heard of this guy. Ah, he passed away? Oh no, I didn't know he passed away. He passed. I heard of him. He's very famous, right? So okay, let me show my other drums. So jazz festival snare, right? Wood 3-ply drum. Sounds cool, you know. 1920s Ludwig. My favorite snare of all time. Maybe I should put other snares in. Unbelievable. I think I should put different, like the pure sound snares on it. I'll do that at some point. Then the other drum I have is this one. It's a metal, so I don't really like metal snare drums, but this drum is incredible. And you have to have some metal snare drums just, you know, for the situation. So that's a 1920s, also 1920s, and can you see it? There's like Ludwig stamped here. See, so that's a 1920s, some metal snare. I haven't played this one in a while, so I don't know how it's tuned. I use this one a lot before. What kind of snares does this one have? Also, this one has like some other snares. I don't know what it is. Amazing. Woo! Amazing. This is like I never going to sell this 1920s snares. You know, this jazz fiddle is cool. I really like it, but these 20s, I mean, that's a different level. Unbelievable. Kind of like the snares. What is this? Canopus or something? Ah, these are Canopus wires. It's nice. Yeah, maybe it's better than the PSL. I don't know. You know, I haven't played this one. It has been sitting here. This is potential snare sounds. I mean, I'm not going to like create a tune because I don't use it anyway. Unbelievable. I mean, that's some other level stuff, man. This 1920 snare drums, that's completely other level than anything of, like, you know, like anything ever. You know? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now let's see the final snare drum. So this snare drum I actually got, I was a long time ago, like over 15 years. 10 years ago or something like that. I went to buy a cymbal from somebody, and I started playing his drum set, like to test the cymbal. I'm like, wow, this snare sounds great. What is it? And it's a Gretsch from the 60s. See, round badge, but it's not. So the wrap is re-wrap, and then this hoop is not like, you see the die-cast hoop from Gretsch look like this, and it's just a modern die-cast hoop, but you know. So and this is like a new. I have the original somewhere, but it's like a new microsensitive strainer. But I have used this drum on many recordings. Like this drum has traveled with me from Europe to here, and like this is like a workhorse drum. It's heavy. It also has like this internal muffler that's pretty heavy. Like the Ludwig has it as well, but this one is like heavy. So even like lifting it up, I really feel it in my. So I don't want to like. I don't want to like. I like this Ludwig, this red Ludwig that I just put new headset because it's very light. So I can, I try not to take stuff to gigs except cymbals. But this is, I can take this with me, if I have to bring cymbals and the snare because it's light. This is pretty heavy. But I used to, like, I haven't really played this one too much because it's like a more heavy sounding drum. So at home, it might sound a bit loud for the neighbors. So this is a Gretsch. So let's tune in. So Gretsch snares from the 60s are known to not sound great. Most of them sounded, they call it boxy. But I have a really good one. Also the shell is like, quality control of Gretsch was not great. They sounded great, but the quality control was so. The snare, if you see, so it has this gray. So this is the thicker shell, 6-ply, and also like in the 60s, like also this Ludwig drum has this like white coating. This one has a gray coating. So they say, yeah, it's for the sound. It was just to cover up the snare imperfections. So this one. Sure my back straight. So this one I have tuned pretty high up because it's a harder to tune shell. Too much. Something like that. Something like that. Okay. So let me put the snare. So these snares, they were just here on this thing, so when I got them. So this snare has this trainer here, but it also has this tuning knob here. So you can adjust it from both sides, which is actually pretty cool. So let me put this down a little bit. Yeah, this hardware on this apparently it's not going. Like if I compare the 1920s drum with all the rest, it's like in the 1920s, they made everything quality and simple, and then from like 60s and everything, they tried to make something special and then save money, I think, on manufacturing costs and everything, and I think that's where a lot of things got lost, but they still sound really, really great, so okay, so this one again has this weird system. See with this. So maybe again, that's the price you pay for vintage drums. But like I said, the 1920s, the problem with the 1920s snare drums is because they're so old, and if the strainer doesn't work anymore, it's very, very hard to find one, So that's why I put a different strainer on the other one. And if you have one like in perfect shape, you don't want to put the strainer, because of collectability or something, or value. But sound-wise, quality-wise, the 1920 snare drums, I prefer these hoops, honestly, these ones. Why? Because I think they're cast, but they're not as heavy as the die-cast hoops. They're not as heavy as the modern die-cast. The modern die-cast hoops are too heavy, in my opinion. And the drum becomes heavy and everything. But these, I think those are brass. I think I might be wrong. I like those because it just makes sense. They're light, they're good quality, and they're cast, and they give a great rim shot. They focus the sound a little bit. They have all the qualities of all the, I mean, like this is a regular flange hoop, and it is clearly cheaper than the other. This is a die-cast for graduates. It's great, but it's heavy, man. It's heavy. So it depends on the drum a little bit. I don't want the drum to sound too heavy, but I also don't like snare drum. Like a snare drum has to have some body, in my opinion. So I don't like snares that are, I don't know how to say it. I like snares that have focus, and I think therefore sometimes the die-cast hoops are good, but again the modern ones might be a little bit too heavy. So this one I can use the regular drum kit because it's a replica. This makes life much easier. So I'm almost done with the snares. These snares work fine, very well with this great snare. I don't know, the guy, I didn't put them on there. Maybe I did, I don't know. I don't remember. But these snares work fine. Okay, let's see. So I'm trying to do it the right way, but I also, I've been busy with this cleaning and everything a little bit too long, so I'm gonna kind of start playing. So triple flange or single flange? What's the difference between triple flange and single flange? So, but I like this old, the old stick saver or something like that. I don't know how they call it. I like the old. I think Adrian Kirschler from Italy, AK Drums. I think he makes those hoops, new brass die-cast hoops, but they're kind of light. I think those are the best. But modern manufacturers, they don't make it because it's too, manufacturing is just too expensive nowadays. So let's see if this works. Let's see how this one sounds. It's pretty cool. I can tune the snares up from both sides. Let's see how this one sounds. This one also has a damper, and it's a very heavy. So the Ludwig damper is kind of light. This one is a heavy damper, so it dampens it a lot. If I dampen it, it sounds a little bit boxy, like a cardboard box. It's cool. It's cool. So it's a very practical drum. Like I used to take it out everywhere, and it has a little bit more. It has a lot of body. Maybe it's tuned too high. So I used to take this one out for recordings a lot. One guy, the studio in Brooklyn here, he loves that snare. It records so well. Sorry for my poor tuning now, but I really don't have it. it sounds different. Yeah, now it's tuned a bit better. It's very, it's kind of a, like a, it's a pretty cool attack. Okay, so now last thing, let's compare all the snares. So this is my scratch. It sounds cool. It has a very cool attack. It has die-cast hook. It's a bit out of tune, but okay. The scratch. This is 60s scratch versus 60s Ludwig. So scratch is a 6-ply. Die-cast hook, this is Ludwig is 3-ply triple friendship. Completely different. I don't know. I mean, it's just complete. So it's cool to have different sounds. Very, very good. So let's see the scratch again. So this is from the same era, right? 60s scratch. Yeah, this sounds really cool. 60s Ludwig. Maybe it's also tuned, tuned higher. Like the scratch, I cannot tune it higher than that. Very different. Very cool. Sounds light. 1920s wooden Ludwig. This drum has the best of all worlds. It has deepness, it has lightness, it has best snare drum ever. Yeah, it's not, again, like I should tune it a little bit better. So let's see, and now this one. Unbelievable. Yeah, this is nice. I mean, this is like, it's uncomparable to any of these 20s levels. That's some incredible stuff. I've never heard a drum from the 30s yet. 20s. But yeah, maybe, I don't know which one is the best, They all sound different. Also, this is a particular room, where this is a small room. I'm going to play my festival snare for a bit. I mean, I cleaned it, but I didn't clean it very well. But yeah, hey, I tried, right? No, so I'm in the US now. My Radio Kings are they're in Europe. So I don't have them here. I would love to do a comparison between the Radio King and the Ludwig. Yeah, these Ludwigs, man, like these 1920s Ludwigs. Maybe I should put different snares on the on my on my 1920s wooden snare. Where is it? Because the snares on my canopus snares, I have never really been an expert. I just always buy the speed sounds wires. These canopus wires sound great on the. So this is a very old bag that came with my other drum, with my metal drum. Let's keep it in my room because eventually I'm going to play this one. But yeah, the 20s drums. Yeah, I should probably get the Radio King here at some point too, But I have to be careful, I don't have the space. I don't really use the snares. Play outside, if I play out, if I play somewhere where there's a radio drum, I just play the drum available, and because playing and going around with the subway, it's bad for your back, and then if I have to take like a portable drum set, I have a 12-inch. I have one more snare, a 12-inch snare. Maybe at some point I will do a video about that one. And I just take it because it fits in my backpack. It's like I have this portable kit. And actually Thursday I had a gig pretty close by my house, and I took my portable drum kit and I took my Ludwig snare. And I mean, I regret it. My back's. I still feel it in my back, 4 days later, So. I'm going to play this snare a little bit more. Yeah, but, I mean, the reissue, of course, everybody, like a lot of people say the Craviotto snares are the best around because the Radio King is a Craviotto shell, and then they replicated the hardware. I heard a couple of Craviottos, and probably some people will really be harmed by my comment, but I don't like Craviottos. So there's a guy in Belgium called Lignum Drums, Lignum. He makes a Radio King replica, and a friend of mine has one, and we compared it to my Radio King back in Europe, and it sounds almost exactly the same. I think that's a better thing than these replicas that they sell now. Let me detune this drum with it. Very nice. Let me detune maybe a little bit more. I should have probably left it alone. Now the hoops smell like WD-40, but I cleaned them up a bit. Not good enough, but... With this drum I have to learn if once it's tuned well I should not try to retune it because it's a difficult one. This lock is always sounds high. Anyway, I played a gig with this, like I said, on Thursday, in the kind of big space and sound beautiful. Yeah, better. I like it, like with the new snares. So I had it tuned a bit too high. So if you tune the snare very, very high, it loses its body a little bit. So now I tune it a little bit lower. Probably very loud for the neighbors. Okay. I've been doing this too long. I'm going to try to practice a little bit, okay? So thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my video. So the tuning of the snare drum became a video of comparing all my snare drums. I'll do maybe just a separate video at some point about all my snare drums. And yeah, it's cool how different they sound. Yeah. And now it made me realize also about the snare wires. Belgium. I grew up in Belgium, yeah. So it made me realize maybe I should put. Yeah, thanks for checking it out. You know, today I'm kind of tired and it's like Sunday, and so normally I just try to practice when I'm free, but it's, you know, it's a good day to do this. And yeah, made me realize some stuff too. Like maybe I should put this Canopus wires on my other. My other snare, my Ludwig 1920s wooden snare. But that 1920s wooden snare is unbelievable. Okay,